So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is, Saturday morning at the BMW Boxer Works in Brisbane, Australia. It's winter. It's about 12 or 14 degrees here at the moment, which is quite lovely. And I'm just doing a job, or trying to do a job that I started this morning. But it came to a bit of a stop when I found a few things that I wasn't ready for. Now, I often contribute to BMW Airhead sites in different places around the world, and part of my wish for that is that as the knowledge base around these bikes is subsiding, as the people who bought them new are getting older and older and older, and who worked on them new and finally can't do it anymore or can't pass on the information anymore. I have some information. I don't consider myself to be a guru, but I do a credible job of fixing people's bikes for them, I think. And this is a classic candidate for what not to do next. So these blocks on these bikes are prone to pulling studs. There will hardly be one left in the world that hasn't pulled a stud somewhere in its life, and I'm talking about the block studs that live in here, hold the barrels and the heads on. And there are many ways of trying to fix it. Now, if there is an Achilles heel on these things, it's that there are 4 studs on these blocks out of 8 that are only drilled through the casting to the back of my finger. There's a void behind there. These 2 go into the front main bearing carrier casting, and the ones on the back on the other side go into the rear main bearing casting. Now, I believe that is there as part of a reinforcement of the bearing, or strengthening or tensioning of the bearing housings to give them extra strength and support. So the top 2 on this side, the front 2 are holes that only go through the depth of the casting, which is only that far, and they're steel studs into alloy. The book says 25.3 or something, or 28 point something foot-pound. Some people say 25 foot-pound. I never go over 25. I usually stop just shy of it, around 24. The reason is that the head, the pressure on the studs goes up tremendously as the 2 disparate alloys heat up. So the alloy expands much faster than the steel and increases the pressure of the bolts holding the studs on, or the torque value, I guess you'd say. Some say it goes over 100 foot-pound. I don't know about that, but that's what they say. I know it goes up significantly, and if you over tension the stud to begin with, it will start trying to pull the studs out of the holes. And once alloy gives, that's it. It's all over, Red Rover, and out they come. Now, there are a couple of helicoils in this block that have been done properly. They are more than double dent. I don't know what size they actually were when they started, but they go the full depth of the holes, and they're obviously done professionally and properly, and they seem to be holding. There's no reason for me to pull them out and drill out bigger holes. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with those. I suspect they'll last a long time. But this one here, that one there, got Muppet treatment. Somebody decided that they were going to fix it themselves, and helicoils are easy because YouTube said so. And so off they went. Now, I've been putting in helicoils for about 20 years and I still don't like them. I don't like doing them because they're always fraught. Technically they're not hard, but it doesn't take much to bugger one up. And when you're in something as difficult as a block, that really makes it tough. So I pushed this yellow rag into the hole here and put it behind the hole that's given up to show you what this idiot did. Now, if you look in there, you can't actually really see it. I hope you would. You can see that yellow light there at the back. When he drilled that hole out for the helicoil, he didn't drill it the whole way through. He left about 1/4 of an inch on the back of it and then cut the stud away, so that he wouldn't have to worry about where the swarf went in the engine, apparently. It can be done in situ. What you have to do is take the barrel off. I've got this tilted on the engine stand so you can see it. Take the sump off, take the followers out, and then pack around the crankshaft and everywhere else with cloth or absorbent paper and then cloth, and then you use a lot of grease on the taps, and then when you finish you flush till you're sick of flushing, and you will actually perform the application without a problem. You have to use plenty of grease on the drill and plenty of grease on the tap. I've done lots of them and it works just fine. Now coming over here, here's the problem. There's the original helicoil that the fool put in, and I'm going to keep calling him that. I hope he's watching this. He can come around here and we'll have a chat about it. That coil is a standard helicoil. It is no good at all for an M10 or 12 stud into alloy. No good at all. It will just do damage. Here they are new. That's a standard one. The one next to it is a double depth. They must be double depth. They have to be if they're going to have any chance of working at all. I use helicoils regularly fixing things around my shop, mainly the drain and filler plugs on final drives, and on the final drive which bolts onto the drive shaft component of the swing arm. They've got 17mm nut heads on them, and they just 3 or 4 threads, and they pull out because people, I don't know what they think they're trying to tighten up. I got no idea. The secret is, if you're going to put washers and things on these filler plugs, put copper washers or put soft alloy washers and change them every time you take the bolt out. If you don't do that, you will continue trying to tighten the nut to stop the oil leak because the alloy washer or the copper washer has work hardened or got too flat to compress anymore, until you pull the whole lot out. On my own bike, the guy that owned it, he kept on tightening up the head bolt studs to try and stop the push rods from leaking. That was clever, wasn't it? That was 17 years ago I bought that bike. I'm still suffering. So I'm not going to let this video run too fast, but this is number one, just to show you what the problem was. There is another slight problem here, and that is, if you look down in here, see all the dings? Little dings like that. Little dings like that. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I've got no idea. But they're too deep. They're not deep enough to scrap the block for, but they're too deep not to put some kind of sealant on them. And the standard thing that people do these days is just go and get a bucket and a shovel and put plenty of silicone on everything and then push it on while it's wet and wait for it to dry and fill up every oil cavity in the engine, and then they deem it to be fixed. I use Loctite 518. It will take up an indentation or a gap of about 10 thou, of which these are nowhere near that. They'd be flat out being a thou, maybe 2. So we use 518 alloy block sealant or flange sealant. It's anaerobic. When you compress it and exclude the air, it goes off. It makes it an oil-tight joint, which is almost impossible to breach. And on top of that, any that is excess will wipe off, and any that gets into the oil system will not glug up the system. So keep that one in mind. It costs a few bucks, but an engine costs a few dollars more. Ride safely, stay well, until we meet again.